Today we are in Vienna, Austria. We've come here for a couple of days of sightseeing. Do watch my trip report on how we got here. I'll put a link in the description. We flew in on Austria Airlines in their business class. We are staying at the beautiful Amoris hotel here in Vienna. I was going to vlog it, however I made a big mistake in my camera settings and all the footage was useless. It has become one of our favorite hotels we ever stayed at, so we will be back and I will be vlogging it in the future. Just down the road from our hotel is the fancy Ritz Carlton hotel. We didn't stay there, but we have dined at 2 restaurants in that hotel. So today's video is going to be the third installment of my battle series. Here we're going to compare 2 restaurants which either have the same kind of kitchen or are in the same location, and we're going to tell you which one we recommend. First up is Pastamara. It's the third restaurant of the Michelin chef Gico Citano. Sorry for mispronouncing the name. The kitchen is described as reimagined classical Sicilian cuisine. The dining room is softly lit, it has soft colors, however it has no windows as it is in the basement. In the center there's a big bar and around it are all the tables. We got a warm welcome of the lovely staff and started the meal with a Negroni for me and an old-fashioned for my wife. For the meal I got some lovely crusty bread with some olive oil, and my wife got some gluten-free bread. Not as lovely, but it's great that they have it. We started off with Gambera Rossa Sicilia. Those are red shrimps. They are from the Mediterranean Sea and they're served raw. So not for the meek, but we really enjoy them. We also had a couple of oysters, David Hervé oysters, roll number 2 to be exact. They were nice and plump, very good, but quite pricey at 10 euros each. My wife has to eat gluten-free, and this isn't by choice, but there are plenty of options for her. Her antipasta dish was the vitello donato, which is roast veal with a tuna sauce, capers and a veal juice. It was very good. I was allowed to taste and I also thought it was very good. For my antipasta I went with the Vintrenska di tonno tuna belly with an onion cream. It was a wonderful, very rich dish, but also good. I really enjoyed that one. My wife's main, or secondi as they say in Italy, was pesca spada alla ghiotta. This is swordfish, caramelized onion and a Mediterranean sauce. The taste was great, but the swordfish was a bit dry and that was a little let down. And I must apologize for the butchering of the Italian language, please forgive me for that. I had a cotoletta bolognese, which is a breaded veal chop. This came with prosciutto Sant'Ilario, mountain cheese and a veal jus, and it was covered at the table with black truffle. Like the tuna, it was very rich, and maybe those 2 dishes was a bit too rich, but it was so good, I finished it all. We skipped the dessert, my belly was full, not even an after dinner mint would fit in. The total cost of the meal was 213 euros, that is without the drinks, water and tip, but it does include the tax. I scored the restaurants on 4 points: the ambience, the food, the service and the price of the meal. So let's start with the ambience. It's a good nice room. The only gripe I really had was that the tables were too close together, so I'm going to give it a 7.9 out of 10. The food was very good, except for that little thing with the swordfish, which was a little bit dry. I'm still going to give it an 8.5 as the rest of the meal was exceptional. The service was great, everybody was very friendly, and that does add to the overall experience. The main server was also very good, and she helped my wife with the dietary needs and took good care of us. So a solid 9 for the whole team. It was expensive, with the drinks it was well over the 300 euro mark. However, it was a good meal, so I'm going to give the cautious a 7.5 for the price. So this is going to average out at 8.2, so that's a good score. It's the next day, we had a full day of sightseeing and now we're going to head back towards the Ritz. The second restaurant at Ritz Carlton is Dstrikt, which is a steakhouse. And this steakhouse is centered around a Josper grill, which is a very high temperature grill. We got a nice table near the window. The dining room was nice but still pretty basic, which sort of matches the theme of a steakhouse, and the big standout was the seating decoration. Well, what can I say, the menu was very meat orientated, and next to the main menu there was also a seasonal menu. Last night in Pastamara, my wife had a lovely alcohol-free cocktail. We asked for it here, but they couldn't make it. But I did make her a pina colada, which is also alcohol-free, which was very good. I started off with a Negroni, which is basically my go-to drink, in which I can compare each restaurant, each bar, with how good or how bad their drinks are. They served us 2 amuse bouches, and not to leave my wife out, as she can't have the gluten, they gave her some cheese and a little bit of ham, which was very thoughtful. She also got some gluten-free bread. I got some, I presume was sourdough, very crusty, very nice. The butter I have to make a special mention of. It was light brown. I don't know what the flavor was, but it tasted very good. My wife started with the grilled octopus, which came on an eggplant with some lemon and almond sauce. She really enjoyed it. The octopus was nice and tender. I opted for the seared scallop with an apple and coconut sauce. I should have followed my gut when I saw this on the menu. I was wondering how it would work, and for me it really didn't. I really did not like this dish at all. For the main I had the bison fillet. It was cooked to perfection, but to be honest it really lacked flavor. Not how I remember the bison which I tasted several years ago in the US. It was pricey. There was a minimum of 200 grams that you had to order, and that came to 70 euros just for the meat. I also had a béarnaise sauce with it, but for me that was a bad match, but that one is on me. We shared a side of grilled green and white asparagus and some truffle fries for me, as they contain gluten. My wife had the Austrian rack of lamb. She chose a port wine sauce with it. It was very good. It was a massive portion, and that was a good thing for me, so I could help her out. The lamb was really prepared very well and had a very nice flavor to it. We skipped the dessert and had a hard time finding a waiter to ask for the check. Then a different server passed us and we asked them for the check, but they didn't care or forgot about it. Then the busboy came to clean up our table. About 15 minutes later we asked him for the check, and of course he didn't, and then after a while we saw a server and we could ask for a check. Cost of the meal, excluding the tip, drinks and water, but including an 11 euro cover charge, was 210 euros. So let's score this one. The ambience of the restaurant was really okay, basic, but it matches the theme, so I'm going to give it a 7.5. All the food was prepared well. I really disliked the scallop dish. That was just very bad. I was amazed to see it still on the menu as I'm editing this. So the food is going to get a 7.8. The staff is pulling down the overall score. I did not see a sommelier. Our server was really overworked. Her managers were just hanging around doing nothing. And I really hope that this is not the norm in the daily operations of this restaurant. Over an hour after asking 3 people to pay the bill is just crazy. So I'm going to give them a 5 for that. Steakhouses tend to be on the pricey end, and we were in an expensive hotel, the Ritz Carlton, so I can't really complain too much about the price. So I'm going to give it a 7.7 for the value. A total score for this meal was a 7. With an 8.2 against the 7 of Dstrikt, Pastamara is the clear winner, and the food was just superior. The service was also really great. That is something that really let the Dstrikt down. If you're a foodie, go to Pastamara. If you just want a good piece of grilled meat, Dstrikt is fine, but we will not be going back there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't yet. Bye bye!